Loretta Lynch, who's been picked to be the next attorney general by President Obama, was at a hearing with a bunch of senators, and Lindsey Graham thought that he was being cute, and he asked her this question, quote, "If the Supreme Court rules that same-sex marriage bans are unconstitutional, that it violates the Constitution to try to limit marriage between a man and a woman, what legal rationale would be in play that would prohibit polygamy? What's the legal difference between a state ban on same-sex marriage being unconstitutional, but a ban on polygamy being constitutional?" So Lynch did what these guys always have to do in these situations at these Senate hearings. She dodged. In fact, they always dodge questions, even that aren't controversial, because they try to give up as little information as possible. They do this with hearings for Supreme Court justices as well. All the time, they try to make it seem like they have no stand and no beliefs on any issues whatsoever, and they do that so as to get approval. So she said, quote, "Senator, I have not been involved in the argument or the analysis of the cases that have gone before the Supreme Court, so I'm not comfortable undertaking legal analysis without having had the ability to undertake a review of the relevant facts and the precedent there. So I certainly would not be able to provide you with that analysis at this point, but I look forward to continuing the discussion with you." Now, a lot of people are going after her saying, oh, how dare she dodge? You know, why can't she give a straight answer? And see, Lindsey was the one who was asking a good question, so she couldn't answer it honestly. And I don't agree with the people who are saying that, because, again, they've always dodged on these questions in these hearings. That's what they do. That's the whole purpose of them, to see how politically savvy these people are who are up for certain positions. So I don't mind that. But let me go ahead and answer Lindsey Graham's question here. There is no difference. Now, this is an area where I part with a lot of people, because progressives, or I should say a lot of progressives, have always been resistant to this idea that, you know, gay marriage will lead to going further down this road of giving people rights, and it will extend to things that right now a lot of people think is unsavory. And I've always said, look, concede that argument to the Republicans. Say, yeah, it is going to lead to more rights down the road in more places. Absolutely. But there's nothing wrong with that. See, a lot of progressives try to draw a line, and they'll, like, mock it. Like, oh, yeah, sure, like, gay marriage will eventually lead to polygamy down the road. Ha ha, these conservatives, they just made that up. It's not going to lead to that. No, the response is, yes, down the road it probably will lead to that, and that's a good thing, and that's fine. See, if you go back and you look, a lot of the arguments made, like, during when they were trying to get rid of interracial marriage, for example, a lot of people said, yeah, well, what's next? Like gay marriage or something? Gross. And back then, the liberals would say the same thing. No, that's a separate issue. Stop making it up. You don't know if it's going to lead to that. That's not the issue at hand. So how dare you say that? We're going to mock you for saying that, and let's only focus on allowing interracial marriage. But again, no, the real response should have been, yes, we're in favor of interracial marriage, absolutely, and we're also eventually going to be in favor of gay marriage. Or if somebody was ahead of their time back then, they would have said, yes, I am in favor of gay marriage. So today I see no difference with polygamy. Now, I understand a lot of people in the gay community they do not want their struggle tied in with a movement for legal polygamy, but there needs to be a standard. There needs to be an objective thing that you're making these decisions based off of. And my argument has always been consenting adults. It's as simple as that. So if we're talking about consenting adults, then the state shouldn't have a right to step in and say, I disagree with you two consenting on this issue, so we're not going to allow it. So yes, polygamy does fall under that. Now, sometimes the conservatives stretch it to the absurd, where they are making shit up, and of course, gay marriage won't lead to said thing. The thing I have in mind, of course, is when they say bestiality. Like, oh, who's going to stop somebody from marrying their dog, right? Who's going to stop somebody from trying to marry a dolphin or their couch? Well, again, the standard is consenting adults. So when you talk about, bestiality, there's no way that you can know if Bessie the cow is giving you the thumbs up to stick your little pee-pee in the butt. So, again, if you want to approach these issues from a rational perspective, you have to have a standard, and you have to evaluate things according to that standard. So then, of course, another argument they make, it'll lead to legal pedophilia. No, it won't, because, again, the standard is consenting adults. So there's a reason why we say that, you can't have a 40-year-old man marry a 11-year-old girl, because when you're 11 years old, you physically cannot consent because you're not of the age yet where you understand the implications of that. You're not at the age where you fully understand what sexuality is and what it means to consent to something. Your mind has not fully developed. You are not an adult. You haven't finished puberty, so there's no argument that this is an individual who has all of the same understandings as an adult and is the same under the law. So when they talk about pedophilia and bestiality, there is no connection, and they're wrong to make that connection, and they're strawmanning, right? But when they talk about polygamy, no, they are right to bring that up, and I hope that after the gay marriage push, we move towards a push for polygamy, because I don't give a shit what consenting adults do. Now, if somebody tries to essentially use the veil of polygamy to just do some sort of a tax scam and say, I'm going to marry 40 people so I can get tax breaks so I have to pay zero taxes. I mean, yeah, in that case, it's fraud, and the state shouldn't allow that, and they won't allow that, and they'll crack down on that, right? But if we're talking about people who legitimately want to get married to multiple people, whether it's a guy wanting to marry 3 or 4 women or a woman wanting to marry, 3 or 4 dudes, again, it's none of my fucking business, man. So stop the Republicans in their tracks, man. I don't expect Loretta Lynch to do that in this situation, but I do expect politicians to do it down the road and progressives to do it down the road, where when a conservative makes this point condescendingly, as if like we're supposed to back away, yeah, well, gay marriage, why not polygamy, right? Why not polygamy? Don't put up the defensive face immediately and say, oh, don't extrapolate, that's not true. Say, yes, I hope so, absolutely, yes. I'm going to stand for polygamy, I'm going to support polygamy because consenting adults is the standard. You disagree with that? So what's your standard? Just anything you randomly pick that you prefer over what you don't prefer? So you want to run the entire government simply based off of your opinions, and you want to personally approve every kind of marriage and every kind of action that consenting adults do. You're the crazy one here, not us.